I'm Ademola, I'm a software engineer. So I'm the mentor for the backend track. So yes, I've stated earlier, if I still looking to join, can still join. We've not really started. So but then I'm going to walk us through what are the expectation, what we should be looking forward to, and how the program is basically going to be operated. So basically, backend on this track will be we'll be using Node.js and JavaScript basically. So the the mentorship will be a peer learning structure. You will be paired in a group where you will learn together and discuss um, some topics and basically just discuss what each and every one has learned. And also, because at the end of each of the module, there are going to be a project. So the team and the group can also solve the project together, and it's going to be reviewed by the mentor and before they move on to the next module. So as I've stated, each module ends with the milestone projects. Some of these projects will be can be done individually, while others will be done collaboratively, because that's also what we are trying to teach. Because in real life, you have software development teams scattered all over the world, and the ability to work collaboratively, irrespective of who you are working with, is very, very essential. So that will be also be very, very vital here. So the learning platform we'll be using are just the the popular open source learning platform like the Odin projects. Also we'll be using some YouTube tutorial and also other resources like Camp. So if you're familiar with Odin project, you can just show some reaction. Okay. So as I've stated, the each group will be working together, and this will assist the team to actually promote their teamwork. And also, when you learn something together, some someone might not be. If you share different approach, then each and everyone in the team will have a better understanding of the subject matter. And also, when the after each module, when the project is submitted, there's going to be review. If it does not meet the certain criteria, then the team they are going to redo the project based on the feedback that they receive from the mentor before their final submission. So it's after this final submission that they're going to move on to the next module. So by this, we are not just going to learn something and just say, okay, since I've learned it, let's move on. Because if you've noticed, there are so many times that you want to learn something, you just go onto YouTube, go to YouTube tutorial, and just feel like, okay, I've learned it. So then when it's time to replicate, you find out you actually do not know what I've learned. So the best way to do that is after you learn each and every topic, you try to get your hands dirty, try to build a project, because at the end of the day, all these tutorial out there, they are made to be simplified. So it's when you work on a real project that we know the the situation you're going to face in real world. So before we really dive into the learning module, we'll be taught out Git and GitHub works. This is very, very crucial in how you work together, because You're going to be using GitHub a lot. You're going to be taught how Git work fundamentally, the concept like branching, merging, pull request, and how we can generally collaborate on GitHub. I'm sure each and everyone in the listening is familiar with GitHub. So if not, I think I want to go there and register. So we're moving on to how the web and internet work in general and how the client and server model work. So client in this case is front end, while the server is back end. And what actually sitting between the client and the server, what's make them to be able to communicate with each other, which is the API. Also going to go over it. Because we are learning Node.js, obviously we're going to be also learning JavaScript together. We're going to be learning some crucial topics like the variable, the data structure and algorithm, and the async programming. Then we are going to dive straight into the Node.js, and we are going to be using Express as the framework. We're going to be learning how the routing and middleware works and the request and response lifecycle, how you interpret the request that the client is sending, and how you send the response back. So we are going to also be diving into databases, the relational and the non-relational database, like the SQL and the MongoDB. We're also going to learn together how to design a schema and how the CRUD operation works, which is basically the creating and reading and updating and deleting a resource in the API. So also these are just some of the topics we are going to go over: authentication and authorization, and how you build a RESTful API design, how you validate the data that's coming into your database, and how to version API. Also, we are going to be touching on DevOps basics. I know Tolu is also be joining on this, but it's also it's a very crucial skill as a backend to learn how to actually deploy what you build. Because I mean, if you have work on something, the user is not going to be using your laptop. We have to like deploy it out there. So we are going to be using Vessel, or Render and Railway, and general introduction to continuous deployment, basically. So yeah, these are the basic things that we're going to be going over. So as I've stated, it's going to be peer learning and group based, and we're going to be learning together. We're going to be solving problems together, and basically we are going to be building real life projects and under each and every module. So yeah, that's that on the back end track. So as I've stated, if you still want to join, you can still join before we start fully. So thank you very much.